Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 274th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and those sexy audio-based legends at audiotechnica.com.au. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit. And joining me today, the tree sentinel to my Erdtree avatar, my podcast Ride or Die. You can find it on them socials at Miss Allie Hart. Miss Allie Hart, how the bloody hell are ya?
And by that name base, I would say I'm a big old pain in the ass. Oh my goodness. I'm doing good considering the torture I've endured in the past week, I guess.
Yeah, are we sadists? Are we sadists, Miss Hart?
No, I'm convinced everyone else is.
Yeah.
I'm convinced.
Me too, actually. I'm there with you on that.
I am convinced. Some of you are into some really weird shit that you enjoy punishment so much.
Yeah, like we're not one to kink shame here at the Hungry Gamers,
no,
but
of course not.
Yeah, you people and your love affair with Elden Ring. Boy, howdy, you'll need Jesus. You'll need a psychiatrist or a psychologist because Miss Allie Hart and I have been roaming the lands.
We did it
as our respective tarnished.
We did it. We said we'd give it a try. It's not a game that neither of us would be really into. So we listened to the hype, we listened to the review scores, and we decided to dive head first into it. And I know, for both of us, it's been torture.
It's been tough. It has been painful and unforgiving. And like sort of setting the table a little bit before we were recording, I was mentioning it was really tough for me going from Horizon Forbidden West, which is tough in its own way, but comparative to this, it's like kindergarten to university, you know, like as far as the learning curve goes. And going from something that's enjoyable where you can take a couple of hits if maybe you mistime a roll or an arrow shot or something, as opposed to this where you mistime a roll or a group of wolves just seem to appear out of the sky and eat you and your spectral steed within two chomps. It's tough. It's very tough.
So
like
tough sledding.
Going from a game where you're running and flying and traversing at such breakneck speed to this where it feels like I'm literally like on my hands and knees crawling around in the bushes hoping nothing sees me as I can sort of try and find a little bit of like a particle of rune so I can get enough to level up.
It does.
I feel like I'm a little toddler crawling around in a nappy in this world because anything that looks at me, my butt puckers up and like sucks back inside itself, and I get so scared and so fearful that I know one wrong-timed roll or sword swing or the fact that my spells, even though I think I'm about level 20 now, my spells still don't do enough damage for my liking. And it doesn't take much for me to go down. So it's terrifying stuff.
Yeah. Hang on. Before we really get into the nitty gritty, who did you choose?
So I went with the, it's one of the spellcasters that can also rock a sword and the tiniest little shield. The astrologer. Sorry, the astrologer.
Yeah.
So I went with the astrologer because I thought that way I've got some ranged casting abilities so I can sort of kite enemies and do my little staff wave and shoot a little blue bolt. And the blue bolt does fuck all. I've been leveling up my intelligence so much, and it is weak as piss.
On the little enemies, it does okay, but
yeah, and anything that's not a little creep, anything that's bigger in stature, usually they just laugh off these little blue bolts that are just hitting them like little flies.
Yeah. I chose the prisoner just because of the toilet lid helmet that it's wearing.
It's beautiful.
And then I also chose prisoner female because her top is still open. So she's like, just rocking out with the tits out. So I thought like, why not, go have fun with this. But I also made like my paladin D&D character because I'm like, it's a fantasy, realm, so why not try and bring her to life a little bit? And she is, poor thing, she is getting smacked the fuck up. A lot of people, when they were talking about this game, they were kind of making references to Breath of the Wild. So I made the mistake of thinking that you could approach it like Breath of the Wild. I tried to, attack the first things you see.
Yeah. Which is the big old tree sentinel for the most part. Like you do your little tutorial in the cavern area, and you get let out into this open world. Very gorgeous and luscious, and even gorgeous in its horrificness as well. Like some of the scarier, darker areas, it's still very pretty in its own morbid way.
It is stunning. Yeah.
But you see that big old tree sentinel there rolling around on his gold horse, and you go, you know what? Let's dance, young fella.
This is obviously the first thing that I'm supposed to attack because it's clearly the first thing you see. It's on the pathway, and you just get absolutely demolished.
Yeah, I still haven't beaten him. I've gone back maybe 10 times.
Yeah, well, so I tried to attack him once and he breathed on me and I died. So I went, all right, let's go back to the way Ali plays games and let's wander around aimlessly. And I did. And then I went to the beach and then there was those tentacle monsters.
Yeah, you went to the hentai beach.
Yeah, I went to the hentai beach and then they absolutely demolished me. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And I have to say, this game has been rough, but if there's one really cool thing that's actually come out of this is every time I've kind of said or I've kind of put it out there saying I am struggling with this game, a lot of people have been helping me with either tips or providing me with videos or things just little bits of information that I can refer back to, and it has improved my experience incredibly. There's all these little tips that you maybe don't know for some reason the game doesn't teach you, which is an odd choice, but it's been really cool having just people out there in the gaming community helping me out and just kind of sharing ideas and stuff. And I've got to say that has been really cool to, experience with the game, because normally I guess I really wouldn't have needed to reach out as much as I have with this game. So I've been able to level myself up to a certain strength level now where I'm feeling more confident exploring and attacking things that are bigger. I think the biggest thing I've attacked, I killed that plant. There was a giant flower.
Oh, yep. Don't ask me. The naming conventions of some of these creatures is just next level. So I can't really remember either the boss's names or just the bigger enemies.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, I killed a couple of the big trolls.
The ones that are walking around the sword. The bushy hair.
They give you some touch ups if you're not careful. Killed a few of them. Killed. I've done I think three or four of the little bosses that you've sort of found around the place. I've killed 2 in a couple of random dungeons.
Oh yeah.
The first one I killed was that weird stop motiony cat with the giant sword.
I've seen it in videos. I haven't found it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Killed that little bugger on the second try. And the heart was in the mouth the entire time. It was any of these fights, one misstep and you cactus. So you got to be on your game, and it's great. And I can understand where this hype and love and adoration's coming from within the community. But I've realized the more I play this game too, because it is true open world in the sense that, as you said, you meet NPCs and they'll mention something, but it doesn't then open up a quest line or say, okay, now go to here. You've just got to remember, okay, I talked to Mary Sue, the Babadook over there, and she mentioned that she was friends with John Smith, the Flame Eater, and they once were in a castle 20 miles this way. So then if you end up at that castle randomly and find the dinner plate they ate off that one time and kill the spectral demon that was there and you take it back to them, you get something. It's this weird ass archaic nonsensical story that plays out slowly over time. I'll just randomly talk to someone, and then apparently because I talked to someone else 2 hours ago and totally forgot about it, they're like, oh yes, you were there and you got that, so here's this reward. I'm like, oh fucking cool, thanks man. it's great, but I like a bit more hand-holding in my games. I like to see a quest log. I like to know, okay, I've got to go here or do this now. Like, I understand what they're going with, and I'm not going to poo-poo on From Software for that. But it's so jarring for me going from Horizon, where I'd see a map and there's icons for cauldrons to go conquer and tall necks to climb and, you know, enemy encampments to take over and all this stuff, where I know I've got all this option where you look at this map and it's just big and it's vast. And there's so many things, and you don't know where to go. It's a lot.
I actually don't like it when I'm being severely handheld through a game. But I just think this game may just suffer a little bit of really just letting you figure stuff out for yourself. And there's a lot of components, especially when it comes to with like leveling, you know, with a dexterity, strength, faith, all that sort of stuff. And then attaching it to like your combat or whatever weapon you're wielding, and however that's leveled or how that's rated. And then your magic is incorporated that, and then the ashes, and then all the other little elements too. Like there's a lot of little different components. And I understand that by making the game like this, it definitely makes it replayable to people who enjoy it, because you can obviously try it all again, try different strength levels, etc. But for me, I'm just like, look, I'm a baby noob at this. I have no idea what's going on. And I guess when you're really sitting there and think, or you don't really know what you're doing and you are wandering around lost, it does seem like a lost cause.
It's very overwhelming, isn't it?
It
like,
really is.
I'm just like looking at an area of a map and I'm like, okay, that looks interesting. I'm going to go explore around there. Hope I can find a couple little shiny areas. I can't remember. I'm blanking on what they're called now. You know, the last rites or whatever it's called. The little sort of
The ones in
teleport
the
zones.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you find a few of them. So at least that way you can traverse the map really quickly.
Yeah,
I
touch
appreciate
grace.
that aspect of... Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the little touch grace points. That's what they're called. Sorry, Elden Ring aficionados. But yeah, when you start to sort of plot the map out with them everywhere, you feel a little less scared, because you know if you die, you don't have so far to go to get your runes if you did get felled by some giant hell beast. But yeah, like, it's true open world. The universe is fantastic but terrifying, because no matter which way you turn, death is looking over your shoulder, ready to take you. No matter how small or weird the creature is. Like, even like you see the little clips getting shared around of like the rams just deciding to have a crack at you mid battle, and you can be on the cliff's edge and they'll just run up and headbutt you and knock you off to your death. You're just like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
I
got no beef with you.
I rolled off a cliff by accident, and I'm like, I'm gonna die from the fall. I'm like, I didn't die from the fall, but what happened is I rolled off the cliff into a pack of wolves. Died that way.
Yeah, death is never too far away from your doorstep.
It really isn't. I like, no, full disclosure, like some of these monsters and baddies, like they can just sneak up on you, and I like it. I like that some things are actually pretty unpredictable in the world. But then full disclosure, it turned nighttime at one stage, and I hid in the bush for the entire night because I was scared. So,
it's scary in the dark. It is really scary.
So
yeah.
So yeah.
So
I mean,
it's a testament.
cool.
Like, the world building's awesome that
Yeah.
From Software have done here, and it feels like you're not being a Souls aficionado like some of the other people are out there. It feels like this is probably From Software at the peak of their powers, as far as they've realized and fully opened this world up, and the storytelling that's on display, even though it is more subdued and subtle, it hits all the right notes. And I've probably put in, I reckon, 8 to 10 hours, maybe
I think
thereabouts.
that's pretty. I might be a little bit less than you, because I'm sure there's a lot of times where I'm like playing the game, but I've also got like Google and YouTube up trying to help me navigate a few things. But yeah, I like, at this stage, I'm still keen to play more. I've seen too many screenshots of really beautiful landscapes that I want to find. And then also, I just want to look cooler. There's so many amazing outfits that I've seen and weapons, and I'm still running around with my toilet seat on my head. So I'm going to go and keep looking and at least try to build up my character a little bit more.
Yeah, once you start to look a little bit more imposing, like, I thought, okay, this is going to make me tougher. It did not. I still got slapped around pretty hard. But yeah, I'm going to push. I want to put another good chunk of time in it over the next week or two, just to try and see, because reading a lot of reviews and people on the socials, they say like once you get to a certain threshold or hit a certain mark in the game, you do feel a bit more powerful for the most part. And then you get into, I guess, that final act of the game and it sort of resets you and turns you meek again. But, well, not resets as in your stats. It's just it scales that high that it gets really difficult again. But yeah, I want to give it a spin and seeing like I saw the shares going this week where Super Lewis 64 beat one of the bosses first try playing with a Ring Fit controller. Like things like that. Like, and I remember Rudism like clocking Dark Souls 3 with a single button playing Morse code. Like, if that can be done, I can do this with all my appendages and all the buttons on like available to me. Mm-hmm. But I will say the controller mapping can take some getting used to as far as navigating the menus. Like when you're middle of combat and you got to try and, you know, navigate or switch weapons or change to a certain potion, it can be a lot.
Have you, like, it could be just me, I could be an idiot, but like I try to lock onto an enemy, but heaven forbid if I look left or right and it chooses to lock onto a different character. I thought if you locked onto someone, that lock would stay on them, but it seems to move around to whoever's nearest or in your sight, and that's really screwed me over. Ass. Yeah, like it's like I'm trying to defeat this guy. Next thing you know, it's like, and a goat, and I'm like, no, no, I want this guy.
Yeah, that goat's probably going to hurt me too, but I've got to worry about this hell beast. Yeah, and it gets the heart pumping. I've had those situations too, and you're trying to ride around on your steed and you time your B button to sort of do your little jump dodge. And yeah, then you end up, looking at a goat or like a wolf or something else that's given chase to you because you're always on the run in this game. Or at least I was. Like
I
feel like I'd constantly be on the toe.
No, I haven't experienced it yet. And I've seen a lot of people saying like, oh, I barely get off my horse. I'm like, really? I'm like constantly sneaking in the bushes or like walking within the forest and stuff, except for this bear forest that I just stumbled in. I'm terrified. There's giant bears everywhere. Yeah.
I've killed one of them. The first time I went through, it took me a good few cracks. Because they can one shot you pretty good.
Okay, yeah. I decided that I wasn't going to mess with that, so I cried and ran out of there and fast traveled.
Yeah. The fast travel is very beneficial. Yeah. And then like, you know, getting transported to the round table area where you can meet NPCs and there's little shop front and upgrade areas and stuff. Like it's cool, but yeah, the fact that this story is unfolding that you're either not aware of or not sure how to progress can be a lot. That's the big thing for me. I'm like, at least give me some kind of kernel. Like, let's put a nondescript icon on the compass. That's all. Don't explain to me what. Just say, that's the way you should go, bro. But instead, I'm like, I'm going to run over here and try and fight some... Oh, now I'm dead by some crabs. I'm going to go over here and now I'm dead by, hentai creature. And now I'm going to go over here and fucking old tree guy's got me
chase again. This golden fart cloud that seems to be wafting over here. I'll see what's going on. Yeah, like it's wild. It's like, it's been quite the learning experience. And like, it's good to have games that challenge you and... move you out of your comfort zone of normal, like what you would classify, I guess, as just the gaming standards, I guess. But it's a very rude, abrupt, like smack in the face, like for anyone that is not used to it. Like I literally ran in there not knowing anything, and I was just like, you people who like this game, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, bunch of sadists.
I'm learning. It's still a gorgeous game. Like, there's no denying that. And these characters, these designs and monsters and everything, they're pretty incredible. So,
yeah, like I'll say on the aesthetics, yeah, it's gorgeous. The locations and the scenery is really pretty, and some of the big bosses look great. But some of the standard NPCs and other people you're meeting along the way, some of the textures are a bit choppy, especially going from where I've played 60 odd hours on Horizon, and it's one of the prettiest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And then jumping to this, I'm playing Elden Ring on the Xbox. You're playing it on the PlayStation, Series X and PS5, and it's very pretty. But looking at it from an aesthetics point of view, it can't stand up beside Horizon. You know, I'm taking the rose-colored glasses off, and this is just from what my normal eyes have seen. It's stunning.
As the resident person who likes to make fun of Horizon just for shits and giggles and to stir you a bit, I have to say my husband's been playing Horizon in the background, and there's a lot of moments where I stop and watch, and no denying that game is stunning. He actually just did a mission that I thought was just lovely, so I watched him do the entire mission. It was in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. I know the one.
Yeah, and it was just really, really pretty. And I'm like, I said to him, I said, if there was anything that could have won me over, it could have been that. Like that was really like fun. The story was great, and then the outcome from where he's at, the outcome was really gorgeous too. So
yeah, I know the exact mission. It's some cool moments in there, and you get some cool gear that really opens up the rest of the gameplay from there. So yeah, I completely agree. Like they're totally different games, totally different genres, totally different studios. So I'm not going to poo-poo on what FromSoft have done. I think it's great. I understand, and I'm beginning to appreciate why everyone is so high on this game. It's just the more I play it, like I'm enjoying it step by step a little bit more every time. But this genre is certainly not for me or my favorite one. Like for these future ones, like I don't know if I'll play them, or if I will, I'll just dabble just to sort of continue to see. But I don't think I'm ever going to become a Souls guy.
Yeah, I don't like. First of all, I don't see me finishing this game. I don't. I don't see myself reaching any kind of incredible point or pillar in this game, but I will keep playing for now because I'm still intrigued.
Yeah, I just want my spells to be better. I thought being a spellcaster, I'd just be able to knock enemies down at a good pace. But my intelligence level, like it's over, like in the game and in real life, it's fine in both. It's in the 20s, and it just feels like I'm blowing little lukewarm blue kisses to them.
Yeah, I
the
agree.
Enemies just like go dust them off. I'm like, this is meant to be my bread and butter. I'm meant to be strong. And I've leveled up, like I've went to the smith and leveled up my staff, and it still does sweet FA. And that's the most disheartening thing for me.
I didn't think about leveling up the staff. I leveled up my sword, but I didn't level
Yeah, I
up.
probably should have leveled up the sword more because, for one, your mana pool's not that big, and it doesn't replenish. You got to drink the potions to do that. Or at least it doesn't for me right now. Mate, I don't know if endgame it changes, but I think it's always just pot heavy as far as getting those FPs back up again. But yeah, it's difficult, listeners. It's very difficult. I know there's a lot of listeners out there that are playing it and that are slapping ass and a high level and are optioning and offering to jump into game and help us through. So very thankful for that assistance that we may reach out and accept in the near future. But it'd be tough sledding.
It really is.
It'd be tough sledding, but it's beautiful. Something else that's I've watched this past weekend. I did a bit of a horror movie back-to-back Friday night, and equally tough sledding. I watched the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix first, and boy howdy is it a big steaming pile of shit. It is so bad. It's just not a good time. I don't know. Like if you're looking for some mindless gore with a little bit of homage to Leatherface and co, watch it, but don't expect much. And then followed that up with the new Scream, and I had high expectations for this one because everyone is universally saying this is amazing. It's the second best Scream movie of all time.
Already approved the next one.
Yeah, there's other ones on the way. I enjoyed the first Scream, but like full disclosure, I'm not one of these people that are like Scream's one of the best horror movies of all time. You know, like for its time when it came out in the back end of the 90s, it was pretty revolutionary, like as far as how it did get a little on the nose and, you know, be a bit smarter. Like it was a bit more socially aware as far as a horror film and some of the tropes. But this movie, it just was punching me in the face with meta over and over and over, and like being so self-aware and meme culture, internet culture, buzzword, meta, hey, check about this. And it just suffocated me watching it, and it was just almost unbearable. Like it was fine, but like without going into moments that would spoil some of the plot, I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck? Come on, like this doesn't make sense. Why are you doing this? This is too on the nose. And I guess it's part of that Scream formula, but it just missed the mark for me. And yeah, I went in with positive mindset that it was going to be great, just based off, a lot of friends and even people in the industry that have opinions that I appreciate, and they're like, yeah, this is stunning and phenomenal and clever, and I'm like, it's none of that for me. This movie's just not a good time.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm very much the same as you. I like the first one. I think the second one was okay, but there was definitely a stage where the Scream movies kind of just were too big for their britches, and they just kind of oversaturated with the whole. It should have stopped. Essentially, it's one of those things where it definitely should have stopped, and it didn't. So I actually had no desire to see this new Scream film, just assuming that it was probably going to just be the same, really.
Yeah, it ain't stopping. It's gonna now get to Fast and Furious levels. They're gonna churn these out forever, I think. And there was some good connective tissue from the first movies as far as plot continuity and breadcrumbs getting followed and little nods and relationships and stuff, which I appreciated. But for the most part, it was just the meta-ness was just too much for me. I'm just like, settle down. Not everything has to be about a horror movie trope right now, and you don't need to be the smartest one in the room that knows everything about horror movie and all that. I'm just like, just let the movie play out. And I've got many things to say, but many of it is spoiler centric. So if you've watched Scream and you thought it was great, or you didn't as well, either way, I'd love to have those discussions to just try and understand why it was so great. I was talking to Buddy about it, and he actually had a lot of really good points as to why he thought it was really good. Mm-hmm. But it just didn't resonate the same way with me. So I'd love to continue more of those conversations. So hit me up. But yeah, those movies, not a good time. Not a good time. But I did see the season finale of 1883 this week as well. Talking about great things that have come out this year, 1883 is one of my favorite new shows as well. So it's like the prequel to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful. It is visual poetry on screen. Don't get me wrong, it's dark and heavy and emotional and violent, but it is one of the best television shows I've seen in a good long while. And anyone likes that sort of Wild West, untamed frontier, open wild America, cowboys, Indians, all that kind of stuff, it's well worth a watch. And everything about it is phenomenal. Outside of Sam Elliott carrying on and getting controversial as an old 75-year-old cowboy actor, as he is on the internet at the moment. Mm-hmm. But it's really good. It's really good. And I cried many times watching that finale. It was pretty heavy. Yeah.
Righteous Gemstones finished, and that was a fucking great ending.
Did you cry?
No. Oh, no. If anything, it would have been cried of laughter, because it was pretty good. Pretty good.
No, I still need to check it out. I've heard good things.
It's so good. It's just great comedic writing, a great supporting cast where people are just not afraid to just really make themselves look stupid, and it's pretty good.
Nice. Something else that's pretty good is our official web store, shop8bit.net. If you want to get yourself some nice tasty merch, head on over there. If you want to support us monetarily, you can do so also at ko-fi.com/we-are8bit for the low price of $1 Australian per month. If you can't support us monetarily, that is fine too. Just be sure to rate, review, subscribe us, as well as all the other podcasts you listen to on the regular, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your respective podcast player of choice, because it will help keep us tracking, help keep us relevant, help keep us charting. And, it's just a good little thing to pay forward. So if you could do that, please and thank you. But for now, let's move into this.
This week's news headlines.
We've got a smattering of little bite-sized chunks here, a lot of quick hitters on THG 274. And the first one, it's a big summer/winter for us here in the AU for Cuphead fans, as Studio MDHR has announced Season 2 of the Cuphead show will drop on Netflix. In addition to Cuphead The Delicious Last Course, also coming on June 30. So more Cuphead on the way, another 10 episodes, I think you were saying?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was right. Yeah.
I still haven't watched any of it.
Yeah, you didn't want to hear what I had to say about it.
I'd like to hear again, or maybe the listeners would. I remember what you said, but I'd like some re-emphasis, please.
It wasn't enjoyable to me. It was there was a lot of elements where I sat there and I'm like, is this meant for kids? I was waiting for comedy. I was waiting for laughter. There was a lot of times where it felt very Ren and Stimpy, but there was no raunchiness. There was no the comedy factor wasn't there for me personally. So I actually kind of stopped watching midway through because it just, I felt like I was like, it's gorgeous, like it's obviously stunning, and like, you know, like I think there was no doubt about that, but it's just overall watching an episode, I'm just not too sure if they're trying to like go for a kid audience or what, like. So
just the tone's a bit uneven, you reckon?
I think
doesn't really
so.
know what it wants to be.
Because I don't think it could be for kids, because I mean the first episode, I mean the tone, like I don't, it's spoilers, like it happens.
I'm sure people won't get upset if you chuck a spoiler
you know,
into.
there's the devil, right? You know, devil taking souls. Like, so I don't think people want their kids watching that necessarily. So I don't know. Is it for kids? Maybe people can like let me know if they actually specifically said it anywhere, or what I'm missing. Maybe I'm missing something particular. And I want to say, full disclosure, I grew up with this style of like animation when, like, way back when, with like Betty Boop and all that sort of stuff. Like, I'm not that old, but I had access to those cartoons. But yeah, it just didn't hit with me, unfortunately.
Yeah. I need to give it a look. I will eventually. Because yeah, I love the game and I love the tone of the game, but it from what I've seen and discussions I've had with yourself especially, it just feels uncertain as to what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
maybe they need to lean more into that darkness and sort of satire and black comedy as opposed to trying to be something for everybody, maybe.
maybe. I definitely think like there's a lot of facial structure things that they did, little tongue-in-cheek moments where, like I said, it felt like Ren and Stimpy. Which is the best one that I can connect to. But like, because there was like nothing there, like I'm like, were you going for it? Like, if you're gonna go for it, fully go for it. But I don't know. Yeah, but you know, there's more coming.
Yeah, more coming in game and viewing form.
That's
so
true, yeah.
don't have to wait too long at all. So June 30, we've got the delicious Last Course. And then, obviously season 2 will be dropping, Netflix summer, AU winter as well. So another 10 episodes. I'll try and watch the first 10 before then, but not going to promise anything there. The next bit of news, much more positive. Capcom is bringing Resident Evil 2 Remake, 3 Remake, and 7 to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S later this year, with free upgrades for existing owners. The 3 games will receive visual enhancements for the new consoles, and those who already own them on PS4 and Xbox One will receive free digital upgrades. Capcom also confirmed that PC versions of the game will receive upgrade patches at the same time as the PS5 and Xbox Series versions when they are released. Each of the 3 titles will be updated to include ray tracing, high frame rate, and 3D audio. The PS5 versions will also utilize the DualSense controller's haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. So, whether you've played those, recent Resident Evil iterations, or maybe you're jumping in for the first time, wait for a couple more months and you'll get the best experience on console and PC. Obviously RE2 Remake is one of my favorite games just about of all time, and getting in and experiencing that gem again would be awesome. It
would be good seeing it really polished.
Yeah, the fact that like seeing ray tracing and as higher frame rates and the 3D audio, especially like creeping around Resident Evil 7 and hearing all those screams and wall scratches and just unsettling moments in RE7 in the Baker house will be, on the edge of your seat. Having that throwing around 3D audio through headphones, or if you've got surround sound or whatever your poison is, going to be awesome. So well done Capcom for enhancing and giving us some better versions. Miss Hardy, you going to jump on in? You going to play some Resident Evil?
Probably not, but I'll watch someone else play it because I just want to see what in the Nemesis.
Yeah, stars. All right. That was pretty bad, but we're going to move on and forget I ever said that. So circling back to what we talked about right off the jump. So Elden Ring is the UK's biggest game launch title out of FIFA and Call of Duty since 2018. Its first week on the market outperformed the launches of Cyberpunk 2077, Halo Infinite, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Horizon Forbidden West, according to physical and digital sales data from GSD, as initially reported by GamesIndustry.biz. In fact, it's the biggest non-FIFA or Call of Duty launch for the UK since Red Dead Redemption arrived, way back in October of 2018. So, this game, the world is hungry for it, primarily from as far as the sales out data we're seeing. A lot of these purchases are Sony-centric. The game has certainly been optimized for Sony. Like, I'm seeing a lot of stuff on like Digital Foundry and just stuff they're sharing around onto internet as far as the load times when you're, loading the fast travel option or when you're dying and reloading into the realms. PlayStation 5 is quicker than just about everything out there, unless you've got some crazy stonking PC. It's the best way to play this game from what we're seeing from the load times and the frame rates, and that's where a lot of this sales uptake has been. But it's good to see that I guess the wider gaming community is jumping on, as evidenced by these sales.
Yeah, and like I think that's something that usually gets like thrown away sometimes, is actually seeing successes in other countries apart from America. And America. So, but like just it also extends obviously to Elden Ring's success in reviews, and then obviously like I don't like saying that it's not necessarily the general appeal to everyone, but it kind of isn't. Like the standard gameplay style isn't very, vanilla and accessible to everyone. So it's pretty interesting just to see that it has been well received. It has picked up people like us who don't normally play these kind of games. So also the last big ticket thing was Red Dead Redemption 2018. Like, not including, obviously, FIFA and Call of Duty, but, like, Red Dead Redemption?
Absolute banger.
Yeah.
Love that game. Love that game. All right. Next little quick hitter. Bandcamp, an online music store and community, announced it has been acquired by Fortnite creator Epic Games. The music company also confirmed that initiatives such as Bandcamp Fridays, where the platform waives its revenue share so artists receive all sales for a 24-hour period, and its online publication Bandcamp Daily will continue to operate as they currently are. So Bandcamp, I haven't really used the service. Like, I know it's been around for a couple of decades, Nelly. I think it was mid-2000s when it first was founded way back when in the United States, and it's another one of these music discovery platforms, whether like you mentioned, you do a lot of stuff on Apple Music, where I use Spotify, some people use YouTube, so on and so forth. It's just another option. And Epic just further strengthening their portfolio and the fact that they do the live concerts and things like that.
Exactly.
There's definitely synergies with Bandcamp here, so I understand what you're doing, Epic. Very smart play.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what it actually translates to. There was a lot of speculation, a lot of people in the comments thinking that it actually was going to be some weird like NFT route, but I know that we're in a stage currently of copyright DMCAs, and all that kind of business. So maybe Epic's trying to do something to kind of cover gamers,
skirt the rules a bit,
yeah, something along those lines. So it should be interesting to see like what this might evolve into later down the way, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we'll see more of this unfolding over the coming months as far as what Epic have planned for that purchase and how they're going to integrate that music platform more into the titles and into the Epic Store and so on and so forth. But yeah, another day, another big acquisition. There's like I was scrolling through gamesindustry.biz. There was another 6 or so we could have mentioned to put in this doc here, but it's just happening too frequently, I should say, and fluently. Fuck. But yeah, it's not going to be the last time we're going to report on a big game purchase.
Acquisitions of the new zombie game.
Hey man, God. Somehow Norman Reedus weaves into all the acquisitions as well. Just does.
Kojima acquires.
Maybe Kojima owns Norman Reedus. Maybe he bought Norman Reedus.
I mean, it's possible. Although the guy's
he's
still
him like sitting at his house.
I don't watch Walking Dead or whatever that is. He still?
He's
on
still
that?
on there.
Oh my God, he has to be the longest one, right?
Yeah, and he's got an offshoot. I think him and Carol might have an offshoot coming to the screens too, because I think this is the last season of the mainline Walking Dead that's airing now.
How has it lasted this long?
God, buggity if I know. I think it's 11 seasons now. And then you've obviously got Fear the Walking Dead. And the other ones, there's so much zombie.
Yeah, too much.
Much zombie. Something that is also great that has officially been made available this week. So Forza Horizon 5 will now feature support for American Sign Language and British Sign Language for in-game cutscenes. In recognition, some deaf or hard of hearing gamers find reading captions fatiguing. Developer Playground Games and Xbox engage deaf and hard of hearing actors to sign its in-game cinematics, the results of which can now be viewed by way of a new free update. So, love this. I love the the constant discussion and evolution as far as accessibility in gaming. Like, on the other side of the coin, you get all these other people saying Elden Ring needs an easy mode. That's nothing to do with accessibility in this regard. Like, I think if more gaming development companies can engage and have options like this, anything like this that's going to improve your experience in gaming or media, whatever way you're consuming it, is fantastic. So hopefully we see more of this moving forward.
Definitely. And every time that a studio actually incorporates new ways to make games accessible, it's a good pillar point for other studios to maybe take in consideration on what they can do to include into their games as well. Because there's still quite a lot that they can and should probably do as the standard. So.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it all starts with, engaging with people in the community that require, demand, wish for more broader accessibility options in gaming. Get them involved in the development process and get real player feedback as far as what they'd think could add benefit and open this game up to more people. So, hopefully we see more and more of this. We have been the last few years, and it feels like the momentum shift is there, but yeah, more of this, please, game developers, because it's great. The next little banger, the DICE Awards ran this past week as well. Like we were like a day late on the DICE Awards and a buck short and Pokemon Day, like recording last Friday, and we're doing it again now. So let's see what happens in the next 24 hours as far as other big news that might break. But little sort of quick condensed recap of the 2022 DICE Awards. As far as the notable winners, outstanding achievement for an independent game, won by the Australian-made Unpacking.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was so happy to see when they won that.
It's really good to see. Like, it won our Indie Darling of the Year at the Biddies. It's won, the outstanding achievement for an independent game. So shout out to everyone involved there. Online Game of the Year, Halo Infinite, took home the bickies on that one. The numbers have sort of subsided a little bit since the December-based Halo hysteria. Yeah,
it's been on quite the decline. Actually, it's been really unsettling being within the. Reddit is Reddit, but yeah, the Halo subreddit has been harking on about just all the stuff that's not happening and not changing, and apparently they still haven't really released much when it comes to laying out like what the plan is. And they said that they were expecting that by now, I think it was. Or
like the online co-op, the online co-op campaign that was slated for somewhere between, I guess, January and June. Like we're bang in the middle of it, but it'd be nice to get a bit of a tighter update as far as this is when it's coming. Yeah. But we'll see. The internet's going to be the internet, and there's going to be people getting those pitchforks out and going after 343 and anyone else directly involved. But yeah, they won Online Game of the Year. Outstanding achievement in game design, taken home by It Takes Two. I think it's deserving. It's won many an award over the last several months during Game Awards season. It has. Was it Game of the Year? Not for me, but for many others, they thought it was pretty great. It's just some of the themes that they covered in it was just not for everybody. No. Outstanding achievement in game direction, done by Deathloop. So that was our Game of the Year in the 2021 biddies. So, the nation and also the broader DICE community are in step there. So, and the big one, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, they took home an absolute bucket load of awards. So, shout out to everyone involved there with Sony. I love that game. You love that game. We've got a spoiler cast out if you want to go revisit our thoughts on that game that came out. It's available on the Hungry Gamers RSS feed, so you can check that out. But well deserving of all the accolades it took home. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like the DICE Awards also agreed that It Takes Two was Game of the Year. I didn't play the game, and I'm kind of still a bit like is this game really that great? Like maybe I should play it and see if I agree, but it has been consistently winning Game of the Year, and it's been up against some strong contenders. The Artful Escape had a lot of nominations here. They've actually been nominated 3 times for the BAFTAs. Apparently the BAFTAs is involved in gaming. Yeah. So it's been really cool seeing like the Artful Escape getting so many nominations, and another one that got a lot of nominations was Inscription. And it was up there with some heavy hitters as well. So it's just pretty cool, like seeing these like indie titles just, you know, battling it out with like big studios, and, you know, like even if like not getting the win, just like being out there and like, you know, being a contender, I think is a big awesome feat.
I think seeing them get acknowledged on that same platform as their peers, where some of these big AAAs are, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars to make, and then these indie games where it might be a handful of people working outside of their 9 to 5, or it might be a single dev making these games and getting the same level of recognition. It's awesome to see, and there's certainly a paradigm shift the last couple of years as far as these indies starting to ascend and get compared to and get that same level of recognition and acknowledgement, which we love. So, you know, more parity, like not from a budget standpoint, don't get me wrong, but at least as far as indie games can be seen as deserving Game of the Year winners and win the big awards instead of just being pigeonholed into the best independent game, for example. Like the fact that they can be trying to take home the night's biggest honor as well. So that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really, really awesome. But yeah, It Takes Two. It's a game that, yeah, many love. Like, I thought it was fine. But yeah, keeps winning the big one.
Game of the Year.
Yeah, interesting. And the other thing that was interesting that broke, yeah, like less than 24 hours after we closed the studio up for THG episode 273, during last week's Pokemon Day presentation, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was announced, and it will be the ninth generation of the mainstay RPGs, and we were teased with a short trailer during said presentation. The footage showed wide environments, and the company describing this as a game, in quotes, where various towns with no borders blend seamlessly into the wilderness. The 3 new starter Pokemon were also unveiled, and the game has been given a release window of late 2022. That was the biggest like mic drop moment for me, where we've just got Pokemon Legends Arceus out this year, and now they're following it up with Scarlet and Violet, 9th generation of the game, 3 adorable new starters. I can respect the hell out of that you and I have both landed on Fuecoco. Is that how you pronounce it properly?
Yeah, Fuecoco. Yeah.
Fuecoco. He is the Fire Croc type Pokemon. We also got Sprigatito, which is the Grass Cat type Pokemon, and then Quaxley, the Duckling Pokemon. He's the water type. And then, yeah, obviously Grass and Fire are your 3 primaries there. It looked cute. Like, obviously it didn't really go into detail as far as the story, some of the other new Pokemon. It was just showing, you know, these vast sprawling shots of the landscape and the township and the trainers you're going to be playing as. And then we got a little bit of focus on the 3 starters. The trailer that debuted this game with the Japanese security guard cruising around this old like laboratory office, and it was just, you know, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, it was a bit unique.
I'm like, is this a Professor Layton, like a Professor Layton sequel, or like an Ace Attorney? Is there going to be a crime that's going to be committed after this? But we got new Pokemons, and the internet seems to be pretty happy. I think everyone seems to be loving all 3 starters. Like, there hasn't been really a primary whipping boy outside of poor Quaxley getting compared to Donald Trump.
Yeah. The general consensus is he's either Donald Trump or he's a cop. Everyone says he's totally a cop, but I just don't like Sprig. I don't like the cat.
Little weed cat.
Yeah, it doesn't look that imaginative. It doesn't look that unique. Like well, then again, you know what, Fuecoco does look like any other of the little dinosaur ones, but yeah. And Quaxley actually kind of, you could say, is reminiscent of Farfetch'd. I don't know.
Yeah.
The cat one really isn't vibing with me.
I just love that it's weed cat. Like, all I see with that cat now is just marijuana leaves on its face and its around its neck.
Everyone's just doing little posts of it being a literal weed cat. So, yeah.
It's so great. But yeah, late 2022, I think the words that aren't being said here with this release window announcement is this is probably going to be its big holiday game as far as, you know, Christmas, you know, this game coming out October, November. So Breath of the Wild 2, I think, is going to be a 2023 release. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because we've heard crickets on that game for a while.
Yeah. I was saying to my husband, though, we kind of mentioned it on the podcast where I said that Nintendo seems to do this thing where they won't announce anything too far ahead of time. And I think that they must have this like protocol on release window and then announcements. So I guess if we don't hear anything, they'll probably announce later on that it will probably come out later. So that's what I'm thinking.
I'm saying Feb 2023. Fall into that same Breath of the Wild release window. But we'll see.
They might push it for Christmas, maybe.
They might. They could. Like, it'd still sell. Like, it's not as if Pokemon and Breath of the Wild 2 came out in holiday season 2022 that they'd cannibalize each other's sales. I think it's still, both titles would sell like hotcakes. Like, people would be snapping both of those up and getting similar yet very different experiences. But sneaky Nintendo with their 2 versions where you're going to get maybe a dozen different Pokemon in each version. So you're going to need to trade or buy 2 copies of Asterix, same game, you'd say, right? But, you know, it's just how they roll. Scarlet and Violet coming back into 2022 with Fuecoco, Sprigatito, and Quaxley. So it's kind of cool that they've got like the Spanish region as far as what they're focusing on for what they're going to theme this part of the world where the game's going to be set at. So it's going to be cute. Very excited. Yeah. Fuecoco, little fire croc. I love you. He's great. Elsewhere in the Pokemon Day presentation, the Pokemon Company detailed updates for Arceus, adding new trainer battles and legendary Pokemon, and last year's Diamond and Pearl remakes, including the mythical Shaman. There was also updates for mobile outings Pokemon Go, Pokemon Masters EX, Pokemon Cafe Remix, and Pokemon Unite, the latter of which is also available on the Nintendo Switch. An animated series based on Arceus is also due to premiere later this year. So we got a lot of Pokemon coming our way this year on the game screen, on the small screen, on the big screen. It's everywhere. Can't escape them Pocket Monsters.
Pocket Monsters.
But yeah, it's cool.
Where's Digimon, man? Are they still doing Digimon?
They're no longer the champions, I guess. But yeah, maybe even I totally forgot to say with that trailer, Miss Hart's just done herself a mischief. I'll keep playing.
Karate chopped my desk.
That trailer, like when it first was airing too, and I was curious if it was like a Detective Pikachu 2 trailer. I thought that might have been the path we were following to get to, but instead we got the game. But anyway, no one's going to be upset about that. But yeah, if you don't want to wait until the end of 2022 for Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, we've got you covered.
New releases and events.
As far as podcasts dropping this upcoming week, we've got a couple of spoiler casts dropping on the Hungry Gamers RSS feed. We've got a spoiler cast for the Batman, the new 3-hour jaunt that is going to be watched this next 48 hours between the few of us.
Few days.
It's going to be watched over this weekend. By the time this episode is out, we have watched.
Oh, definitely, it's
Batman.
been watched. Yeah.
Yeah, and outside of that, also we've got our Horizon Forbidden West spoiler cast dropping, and also another episode of Comedy Rewind tackling Van Wilder, Party Liaison.
Classic.
I'm excited to join Jono for that one. I love that movie. Peak Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that one, but it was a high school movie to watch, even though it's about college.
We'll see if it holds up. Outside of that, we're also going to have another little micro delivery of extra Bitecast episodes, so be sure to get them in your ear holes as well. As far as TV, this upcoming week, there's a lot of new shows that either I love myself or I know that the internet is a big fan of. So The Last Kingdom, Season 5 of that is dropping, as well as Formula 1 Drive to Survive Season 4, both on Netflix, coming out in this next week release cycle. How I Met Your Father Episodes 1 and 2, making its way to Disney+. Heard mixed reviews on those ones. Hilary Duff trying to anchor that show, so we'll see. Outlander Season 6, the premiere will be out on Binge. Picard Season 2, it actually came out last week, but I missed that, so I thought I just wanted to shout out that, Jean-Luc, the second season of that is out now on Prime, and Upload Season 2 comes out this coming week. I fucking loved Upload. It was so great. It's a great little heartfelt comedy, and I'm keen as a bean to check out Season 2 that comes out in this next release cycle as well. Do you remember this one? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It was the one where like a guy maybe, you know, anywhere from late 20s to mid 30s, dies unexpectedly, and he gets his conscience uploaded into like a digital afterlife.
Oh, I kind of remember.
It's really great. It's so good. I love it. So season 2 comes out of that. So I'm very happy. And as far as if you want some games to play in between, you know, getting absolutely punished by the Tree Sentinel and every other tough bastard in Elden Ring, you can play RPG Time, The Legend of Right, Ashwalkers, Aztec Forgotten Gods,
Ooh.
Chocobo GP, which hasn't been getting reviewed very well, but, you know, it is what it is. Submerged Hidden Depths, Workshop Simulator, Young Souls, and the game will have some coverage on over the next couple of weeks, courtesy of those legends over at 2K. WWE 2K 2022.
A little wrestling.
Bit of wrestling. I do find it funny that the roster that the game is going to present us with, 30 of the people on that roster have since been let go. So 30 people
30?
that are in the game are no longer actually working with WWE.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Wow.
Last year, I think they culled 90 people off the roster.
That must be unsettling. But it must be also good because that must mean like is it AWE? Am I guessing
AEW?
AEW. They must be holding their weight pretty well, you know, to have that kind of mix and mashup going on.
They're picking up a lot of the big names, and Tony Khan, who runs AEW, has just bought Ring of Honor. So he's bought one of the other big, long-time wrestling outlets. So he's starting to slowly, you know, push his chips all in. So,
Another acquisition.
Another acquisition, this time in the wrestling world.
Wrestling.
All right, so let's jump over to here.
Tweet of the week.
And this tweet comes via way of @Wario64. And the tweet reads... That's exactly what the tweet reads. Gabe Newell is hand-delivering some Steam Deck orders in Seattle with the camera crew, along with autographed Steam Deck cases. So it was originally shared and showcased via Reddit. You can see some graphics there of Gabe, you know, wearing the mask, which, you know, you got to admire for one. But, yeah, hand-delivering Steam Decks to lucky early adopters of the hardware. Sadly, not available here locally in AU still. Is what it is. Very, very frustrating, very annoying, but that's life. But it's kind of cool to see that the man behind Steam, this alleged multi-millionaire, maybe bordering on billionaire, I don't know, doing some everyday work like this with the film crew. I don't know, like that's you know, it's a skit, it's a bit.
Yeah, it's a little marketing going on there.
But it's still cool.
Yeah, I mean, some people it would have had to have been quite an honor. But I did see the video, one of the videos from him releasing, and like no offense to Gabe, but he looks like Santa at the moment. And if a person that, like, you know, looked like him wearing a mask came up to my door, I wouldn't automatically think it was Gabe. I don't think he has a distinguishable voice, but the people in the video was reacting like they knew who he was, like, straight away. So
yeah, I'm wondering, like, if the film crew sort of got, well, obviously, because you have to ensure that the person getting the Steam Deck's home.
Or answers the door. I wouldn't have answered the door.
Yeah, so they'd probably vet them and let them know what's happening, you know, and, you know, make sure you're as hyped as you possibly can, you know, show all the excitement and be overjoyed and whatever else. But no, it's kind of cool. Cute little gesture, and no doubt we'll see it getting used in Steam-related marketing propaganda over the coming weeks and months. But
getting one
cool
signed,
story.
getting one signed is pretty cool. That's, you know, something special for the future.
Yeah, like if Phil Spencer rocked up to me with the Xbox Series X that I purchased day one and it was signed, I'd be doing backflips. That's for sure.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but Miss Hart, that brings us to the end of THG 274. Anything else you wanted to shout out or mention before we shut down the studio for another week?
No, just want to go back to thanking everyone, like, out in the, you know, social media verse and people on Discord and everything, just helping us out with Elden Ring, because it hurt. Yeah, we need all the help, guidance, and assistance you can provide. So thanks to everyone that has so far, and if you see us use, I can't remember what the finger's called, but the finger that allows you to you know, summon people into your world to help. If you see me giving you the finger, that's the gesture I'm implying it to be. Not rude. It's
I need assistance. Help me. I am a lowly astrologer that is very weak and very skittish. So, yeah, Elden Ring, what a game. But other games, if you wanted to quickly get in and try a sample, the Kirby and Forgotten Land demo is available right now from the Nintendo Switch eShop. The full game is obviously coming out on March the 25th, but if you want to get a little taste, if you want to be Kirby and eat everything in the world, you can get that demo right now from the eShop for no dollars. But yeah, Miss Hart, that brings us to the end. We are done. Thanks to all the listeners that are stopping by, giving us all that love and support. But until next time, 8-Bit Nation, for episode 275, much love.
And stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.
Hey listeners, do you want to hear Brendan and I talk about the Murder Dolls? Let us know on social media.
Please do. Hey, Frankenstein.
What's on your mind?
I wish we knew more than the 2 opening lyrics.